Hey y'all, my name is Hayden Jansky, and today I'm going to talk about Elise Milliot and how she played a pivotal role in the involving women's sports in the Olympics, from the participants in it, how it changed over time, and the challenges that were faced into it. So, Elise Milliot, one of the first to express this concern to the Olympics and the Olympic Committee. She was a French athlete in the early 1900s who obviously noticed the lack of women's sports in the Olympics and just in general. She contacted the Olympic Committee, and at the time they weren't too familiar to welcoming to women being in sports and, obviously broadcasting that. And so she helped to create the International Sports Federation for Women, and it took a hit. It hit off quite well. She, didn't put it off, and she actually went for it, and it worked. So there's many things that we're going to talk about, and how that's played a huge impact on what the Olympics are today, and how those challenges have been overcome, and what we are going into throughout this video. So, to follow what Elise Milliot started, the first competition only had 22 women compete, and they were only allowed to compete in ladylike sports like tennis and golf. Over the years, many more were added, but a few to note are track and field, which got added in 1928, women's marathon, which got added in 1984, and women's boxing that got added in 2012, which was not too long ago. But the good news is that, the Olympics Committee has gotten better at this, and in the Tokyo Olympics of 2020, they were almost perfectly balanced. And actually in Paris 2024 hit 50% men and 50% women competing, which is a big deal. Of course, having equal numbers doesn't automatically mean things are equal, which brings me to my next point. The challenges women still face in sports, which, to start off, the pay gap. The pay gap doesn't match up quite well to the men's pay gap, simply because a lot of media producers don't think that they bring in as much money with the women's sports. Media doesn't cover women's sports as much in a large variety or in a large spectrum, because it tends to focus more on looks and personal lives than the sport itself. There's also an inequality in resources, such as coaching equipment, facilities, sponsorships, all because men's sports are, I guess, more desired. And so there are still stereotypes that think certain sports are too intense for women, which also comes into a factor. But to close off, overall, people like Elise Milliot have helped push things forward and have come a long way from where we were in the 1900s and even before. What she has started has encouraged many women in sport and the Olympics to be, courageous and go out and compete in the highest of levels that they can. And that's it. Thanks for watching.